am the leader. They want to hear from the mayor. If y'all ain't learned that yet, the mayor, not the trustees that don't do nothing.
How about you be a good leader, bring RFPs to the forefront, so not just us, but the residents and everybody else in America know how the money is being spent.
More and more people are beginning to speak out with the situation over there in Dalton, Illinois. And this is a sad thing because I'm asking questions. If she's this bad of a mayor, how is she still in this seat? How does she still have the two positions that she has? You know, with all the accusations that's been levied against this woman. Now you have people that's for her in the city and people that's against her in the city. But I asked the question: could it be that she's doing a good job? I'm just hypothetically speaking. Could it be that she's doing a good job and the powers that be that don't look like us want her out of there? So, you know, they got their attack dogs that look like us to attack her? Or could she be everything that the media is saying she is? We don't know because she's still in that position. She's still in a position. The residents there hasn't forced her to resign. It's real crazy. It's like just so unprofessional at these city council meetings. Check this out. Look at her when the way she speaks at the city council meetings and how upset she is and what she says when she speaks as if, you know, she's a dictator. But as again, like I said, I'm not in Dalton, so I don't know the pulse of the people on the ground there. But let's check out Tiffany Henyard and the fiasco that's going on over there. We'll come right back.
WGN Investigates has an update on dysfunction in Dalton, where local leaders are fighting over transparency, spending, and safety. Now the South Suburbs' controversial mayor is firing back, and it all played out at a public meeting last night.
Y'all forget I am the leader. They want to hear from the mayor. If y'all ain't learned that yet, the mayor, not the trustees that don't do nothing, that only run their mouth. Y'all don't do no work.
Tiffany Henyard considers herself something of a crusader, but one who's clearly annoyed by questions from a rebellious group of Dalton trustees who are in a standoff with her over spending.
At the end of the day, vendors are not being paid. Board approved it. The vendors are not being paid.
How about you be a good leader, bring RFPs to the forefront, so not just us, but the residents and everybody else in America know how the money is being spent.
WGN Investigates has cataloged tens of thousands of taxpayer dollars spent on trips, meals, and more by Tiffany Henyard and her allies in Dalton and on the Thornton Township Board, where she's the supervisor. Township credit card records show Henyard and other officials spent more than $67,000 on trips to Portland, Austin, Atlanta, and New York City. Many of the flights were first class. So were the accommodations. In Atlanta, Henyard and her team stayed at the Four Seasons Hotel, costing taxpayers more than $9,000. In New York, the bill came to $13,000. Henyard has refused to explain the specific purpose of the trips or why they travel in such style, but she appeared to refer to our reporting at Monday's Dalton meeting.
But everything we do for the people. But we under attack. We getting scrutinized in the media. For what? Loving on the people? Showing them that they matter to us? We going through the fires for y'all.
Henyard calls her critics grandstanders who should get in line.
Y'all should be ashamed of yourself. Y'all black. Y'all are black. And y'all sitting up here beating and attacking on a black woman that's in power. Y'all should be ashamed of yourselves.
Dalton's difficulties got worse in recent weeks with water main breaks Henyard blames on trustee budget cuts. Then 4 people were shot and injured last week, leaving nerves frayed and Henyard's opponents pointing out her sizable security detail.
It's unfortunate that politics are being played, but what has happened is $1 million out of my budget has been cut because of politics.
We're not saying the police is not doing a good job. What we're saying is you're assigning all of them to be with you when they should be out here protecting the residents so we can all feel safe.
Residents are taking notice. Some spoke for and others against the mayor.
Well, you know, we got the mayor here, meeting with the president of the United States. Everyone's seen the picture. That's a big deal. That is great promotion for this city, for this town.
Ladies and gentlemen, be civil, do things right, think of the residents. You are here to represent the the residents and not yourself.
Henyard and her publicity team no longer respond to our emails seeking an explanation of her spending. As we've reported, she is also the face of a cancer charity that bears her name, one that has failed to file required financial disclosures. The Illinois Attorney General has given the foundation until the middle of this month to show how it spends its money or face legal action. Lourdes?
So Tiffany Henyard, she fired her one of her police chiefs, and now he's speaking out. He's speaking to Fox 32 about what's going on the inside, right? And like I said, there's a lot of people complaining about the police detail and the safety of the city because she has damn near half the police detail rolling with her. So it's a sad, it's crazy. It's crazy from the outside looking in on what's going on. I would like to hear from more of the Dalton, Illinois residents. More of them speak, other than the people on the board. I want to hear from the residents. How does the residents feel about her? Well, let's check out this Fox 32 interview that the former police chief did, and what he had to say about her. We'll come right back.
We needed those officers to be on the street fighting crime, and instead we have several officers that are riding around protecting the mayor.
The former police chief in South Suburban Dalton is speaking out for the first time to just one station about Mayor Tiffany Henyard's controversial police security detail and how it impacted his ability to fight crime.
Last year, a Fox 32 investigation showed how that detail is taking officers off the street and costing taxpayers thousands of dollars in overtime. Dane Placco continues his investigation, exclusively talking to the former top cop who tried to put a stop to it.
The manpower was just very stressed and critical to the point of almost breaking.
Former Dalton Police Chief Robert Collins spoke to us from Florida, where he's taken a new job after being fired by Dalton Mayor Tiffany Henyard late last year. But Collins says he remains frustrated by what he experienced leading an undermanned, overworked police department, while Mayor Henyard demanded a large personal security detail.
You know, wrong is wrong, and there's a time to hold people responsible and accountable for their actions.
Last year, a Fox 32 investigation followed Henyard's detail as Dalton police officers drove her from morning till night, often to her second taxpayer-funded job as Thornton Township Supervisor in South Holland. Through an open records request, we found the officers assigned to Henyard racking up hundreds of hours of overtime, costing taxpayers tens of thousands of dollars.
But at some point, there would be 2 officers or 3 officers, and depending on if there was some type of event, it would be more officers.
That's for a town of a little more than 20,000 people that's struggling economically and usually only has a few officers on duty per shift. Collins says Henyard's security detail was warranted when it started in 2021 after a police-involved shooting sparked protests and threats.
And at some point, the protests stopped. However, the detail continued.
And it grew in size and scope. Collins says Henyard frequently uses the officers as her personal valets.
Officers would be sent out to run errands, to do pickups.
And the mayor's detail racked up thousands of dollars in travel expenses, accompanying Henyard on her many trips out of town.
Why do you need a security detail while you're out of town? Who's on the other end of that flight that's going to do harm?
Collins says he became increasingly frustrated because the mayor's detail tied his hands when it came to fighting crime. Just last week, a mass shooting on Sibley Boulevard left 4 people injured. Collins believes the bad guys know there aren't enough cops on Dalton's streets.
But Village of Dalton has its challenges with gangs, guns, and drugs. And if those officers aren't there, the visibility isn't there. And if the visibility isn't there, then criminals have free reign.
When we tried to ask Mayor Henyard about her use of the detail last year, we were stopped by Village Administrator Keith Freeman.
Mayor, mind if I ask you a couple questions about your security detail?
Absolutely not.
I'm asking her.
Yeah, she says no.
Collins says he got the same cold shoulder when he tried to tell Freeman about the problems the mayor's detail was creating.
And it more or less was, these are the orders. this is what you have to do.
Last week, Collins filed a civil lawsuit against the Village of Dalton for wrongful termination, saying he was fired by the mayor without cause and without board approval because his wife is friends with some of the mayor's perceived political enemies.
I will say this to our people, man. When you got somebody look like us in office and you're disgruntled with that person and you don't want them there, that's fine. But make sure that you have your candidate ready, educated, prime, and ready to go. Because if you don't, the other groups are going to come and put their people in those seats, and they're not going to get those seats back. So if we're going to complain about people that look like us, from the Fannie Willis to the mayor down in New Orleans, what's going on here in Dalton, black people, listen to me. Make sure you have the candidate that you want. You have to get into the politics where you live at. You have to financially fund and back the candidate that's best suited for you. Because if you just angry and want that black person out, then the other groups are going to put their people in. And they're not going to get those seats up, man. They're going to come back and reclaim those seats that we took because we're the majority. Remember, we're used to being told, dictated to, and told what to do by other groups. So when we get in those positions, it's going to be rocky at first. We're going to have people that mess up like every other group do until we get it right. But we got to have our own candidates that we financially fund. Other than that, it's never going to be right unless you just like being governed by them other groups. Other than that, don't complain. But that's all I'm saying, man. Listen, I'm not there in Dalton, so I don't know the temperature on the ground from the people. I want to hear more from what the people on the streets are saying. And then we can go from there. But until then, I'm going to keep reporting on this. The city girl mayor, Tiffany Henyard, man, and her and the brain trust of the city is at war with each other. So I'm gonna cut it short here. Leave your comments in the comment section. Let me know what you guys think. Subscribe to Street Media TV. Remember, I love y'all. Till the next time. Peace.